And yes, we are live. So, as you can see, very special guest edition today, joined by my good friends Sam Raphael.
Hola.
Lindsey Hyde.
Hello.
Known collectively as the Hydrafells, which was much amusement to Rhea and Rich when we were out after a couple of beers on Cape Colca. Yeah, Hydrafell sounds like either like a Bond villain or like someone's butler. Hydrafell, the cakes. Anyway, enough of that. Joined by these two today, absolute pleasure to cover not just a week but an entire country of Belize. So to quickly kind of set the scene, the end of my last blog was leaving Bacalar and leaving Mexico after 7 weeks. Rich and I said goodbye to Page, and we got the boat from Chetumal in Mexico all the way to Cape Colca in Belize, so entering a country by boat, which was kind of cool. It was actually quite funny leaving the port in Mexico. I don't know if you guys saw this. Did you see the Mexico sign with the Christmas tree?
I saw your photo.
Yeah, and they were playing Christmas tunes as well. In fact, I've got a photo of that.
Bit of Feliz Navidad.
Yeah, so that was good. But yeah, Rich and I arrived on Cape Colca, which is, well, I'll let you guys explain it, but we stayed there for a couple of days just chilling and kind of waiting for you guys to arrive. Explain Cape Colca.
So Cape Colca is kind of this really small island that is essentially, it's really small, no cars, everyone cycles around, or you can go around on little go-karts if you're really lazy.
Yeah.
Or American. And basically everywhere has basically loads of snorkeling around it, which is beautiful.
Yeah, so it's got the second largest reef in the whole world,
yeah,
just off the coast. So actually, for those geographically challenged, Belize is a very small country just south of Mexico on the Atlantic coast of Central America.
Same population as Barnet.
Same population of Barnet, which is
390,000.
Close enough. So pretty small, and yeah, kind of. What really separates Belize from the rest of Central America is that English is the first language, and it's a Caribbean island. Really, it's not a Latin spot. English is the first language. Like culturally, it's like Afro-Caribbean and Creole people predominantly. So very easy and chilled out for us to do that. But yeah, like you said, Cape Colca is just this gorgeous desert island, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So like, we arrived, we caught up with Rick and Andy, we went to this guy's backyard, I guess, for our first dinner on
Wish Willie's.
Wish Willie's.
That was awesome. So
barbecue is very much the vibe.
Yeah, it really was. Like this
Colca.
guy's like, help yourself to beers, throw something on the barbecue, and charge us all a really reasonable price. Really awesome.
Yeah,
basically some of the best fish I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, it was so good. I'm guessing Sam is an absolute photographer master, so I'm going to dig into your snaps. I've got basically no photos from Cape Colca, just like chilling around eating fish and swimming. But I know you're going to have some good, so I'm going to drop in a couple here just to give you an idea of the island. But to move on to kind of the main thing that we did was this full day snorkeling with ragamuffin tours. This is the day that these guys arrived. The day before that I'd done half a day diving, which is a new thing for me. It was pretty cool. But in terms of what the kind of thing I saw, it was pretty similar to the scuba. So Lindsey, how did you get on with the snorkeling?
Yeah, so quite exciting start to the day. Like, this company ran quite a tight ship, like literally.
Sailboat, right?
Yeah, so we turn up, they give us loads of really good kit. We get on this really beautiful but quite small sailboat.
Yeah.
Lots of waves crashing over the sides. And basically we pull up to Shark Ray Alley.
Yeah.
And
this is after the engine malfunctioning twice on the way, which they were very chilled out about.
And everyone seems really relaxed about just hopping in the water with like 12 massive nurse sharks swimming around.
We pulled up and where we were going to jump off, and he was like, right, we're here, and we looked over and literally these like a shoal of sharks, which were each, how big's the biggest?
Is that what they are, a shoal?
I don't know, school?
School? I don't know.
Gang?
I don't know if you can see that.
I think a gang.
This big?
big. They're massive.
Yeah.
They're
About
big.
over 2 meters inside the big daddies.
Yeah.
But we all got in.
We did get in.
Yeah.
We swam with the sharks.
I squeezed Sam's hand quite a lot.
A lot throughout the whole time.
It was cool. Like lots
It
of
was
corals.
cool.
I've like took quite a lot of stuff with the GoPro, but I'm not gonna like make this vlog extended just underwater. I don't know, video diary where it's just me. But I have got one quite good one of us following a big eagle ray.
Yeah. Nemo school bus.
Yeah, so I'm going to drop that in right here. Cool. So yeah, yeah, you can get that.
Yeah.
So you can see from that it's pretty cool, and I don't know, maybe get a couple of bits and pieces that Sam's got from the boat as well. But we 3 separate stops, and yeah, loads of fish.
The sharks are
Rays.
amazing. Loads of massive stingrays, which are
I
a
saw
little
a
bit
massive
scary.
massive turtle.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that moray eel, which is really creepy. Really
Very
creepy.
weird and really wiggly, like green eel that, about 2 meters long, but strange, very ugly creature.
Yeah. So that was awesome. I think the only probably thing to mention about the return journey home is that once we'd sailed all the way out to the reef, there was like a 2-hour sail home where they gave us unlimited free rum punch.
Yeah.
We were
So
pretty merry.
we got completely shit-faced on the way on the way back to the just in time to get back to the island for sunset. And they dropped us off in this little resort which had like trampolines in the sea. So we were like kind of peak drunkenness at this beautiful sunset in the sea. So that was kind of cool. So, to move on from that, Key Colca was gorgeous. Rich and I, you guys arrived a couple of days later, but we actually stayed there for a week, which is the longest time we've stayed anywhere. Actually, in probably the worst hostel that we've stayed in, to be honest. Although that hostel did also give you free rum punch for an hour and a half every day in the
There's
evening.
a consistent theme.
There was a
Belize.
good vibe of travellers there. It was just a bit of a construction site, but I mean, Key Colca it's basic and it's
It's
But
basic.
all in all, it was fantastic. Right, so quickly now we had to get over to San Ignacio, which is city, apparently the second largest city.
Yeah.
It's
which is
tiny.
crazy.
It's like a
It's
small town on literally the other side. It's almost on the Guatemalan border, so the West Ham border.
Yeah.
So we took a boat over to Belize City, which is like the only city really in the country, and then we got the chicken bus, as they're known, which are like the local old school sort of American style school buses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that as an experience?
So the first like half an hour was alright, mostly because we had like a double seat each.
Yeah, yeah.
But then we made another stop, and another like 40 people got on the bus.
Yeah.
And Rich got.
Oh, yeah,
totally
Rich got
screwed
stitched.
over.
So Rich, being the biggest person on this bus, had 2 people next to him and a bag next to him.
He's
as
also-
he sat with half a butt cheek, I think, on his seat.
Yeah, at best.
For the remainder of the journey,
guy.
which was hilarious to all apart from obviously
Yeah.
Rich.
He's just out of shot over there, feeling a bit sorry for himself, but it's all good, mate. Oh, actually, Rich wanted us to mention, very quick. In fact, Rich, do you want to quickly come in? Because you asked me to mention this. He's been feeling a bit ill today, but so just for the record, you went spearfishing. How was it?
Yeah, it was good.
Cool. Anything you want to say about it?
You've added value.
I shot a couple of fish, but didn't actually kill any. But we still came back with a load of fish.
Oh yeah, we ate
barbecue.
them. We actually ate all of them afterwards. That was on Key
And a
Colca.
couple of lobsters. It was great fun.
Cool.
It was really, really good.
Cheers, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for your contribution.
No probs.
Good. That was for the record.
And just for like these chicken buses are like
Oh,
old
yeah.
American
School
buses, yeah.
But they're all painted completely. Every company has different colours
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it. So from the outside, they look really like big, monstrous machines that have really fancy colours on the side. They're awesome. But when they're busy, they're not that comfy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was an experience.
job.
It was fine, and like to be honest, to get from Belize City, which is literally on the coast, to San Ignacio was like what? Was it 3 hours? About that. It's not
Yeah.
fun. That's literally the entire country from one side to the other. So to wrap up Belize, we got to San Ignacio, only staying there for 2 nights before we were heading into Guatemala. We're actually on a little bit of a schedule now between now and New Year, which I'll touch on when we get on the next blog. But basically, the reason we were going there was to go to a place called the ATM Caves. Do you know what ATM stands for?
Actonic.
Yeah, that's about as bad an effort as I would have given it.
Yeah, actinic something.
We would have given it with ATM. So basically, yeah. Sam, what are the ATM caves?
So the ATM caves it's a cave that essentially what is about 800 meters, so half a mile into the cave, there is an ancient Mayan burial site or ceremonial site. So what they used to do at the back of this cave was they'd take people and they'd sacrifice them, and they'd also take those pots of food and drink
there's
and things
like
to give
over
to the
1,000. I
gods.
think there's like 1,200 pieces of pottery still in the cave, right?
Yeah, a lot.
And skulls and skeletons.
Like
A full skeleton.
1,300 years old, which was really cool. But
a
a little
legit
freaky.
skeleton that hasn't been touched. So they only rediscovered this in like the 1980s, and they've left everything. 95% of the stuff has been left like completely untouched, even though you can walk like right next to it. We don't have any photos of this because, well, Lindsay, why aren't we allowed to take our cameras into the?
Yeah. So apparently, about 5 years ago, a tourist took a camera into the caves, all 800 meters of it, and dropped the camera on a kind of 1,300-year-old skull.
Dropped it on the skull, smashed the skull.
Smashed the skull.
Not good.
And, but actually, I think it was quite cool. So it's quite small groups, like 7. And it was quite nice, people not stopping to take photographs.
Oh, it was kind of cool. It's kind of good you're not able to kind of share the stuff, but like even just to get to the cave, it was like an hour or an hour and a half drive from the town.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you get off the bus, the first thing you have to do is swim across the river.
Yeah.
Like you're wearing a life jacket, but it's you can't actually stand in the first, and then you have to wade across it a couple more times. And then when you go into the cave, you're completely out of. You don't see sunlight for like literally 3 hours.
Yeah.
So it's a
caving.
full on. It's a proper cave, and you have to swim it even just to get into the cave. So it's like it's the real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
and
was
I'm
fun.
pretty claustrophobic, and there are times, especially at the end, where you had to go through. Your head had to go through. There's water up to here, and you had to put your head through something that's
it's
about
awesome.
this big, which I just about managed, but it was a bit too close for comfort. But
Yeah.
it was amazing.
It was amazing,
clambering, like swimming.
I know we've got one photo from the very end of the thing, which is us. So I'm going to drop this in right here. Cool, you can see it. So, guys, we've been talking for 11 minutes, and normally these
we
I
need
know,
to stop.
and I've got to drop in the clips of stuff as well. So we're already at a long vlog. So
apologies for taking too long.
no, this is the perfect length. I'm keeping an eye on the
Okay.
time. Big thanks to you for talking to me about Belize. We're going to
Excellent.
feature in future vlogs. Lindsay, how do Mexicans say hello to each other? Pretty good. Nice one.
Salud.
Yeah, it was probably going to be after Christmas till the next one. So thanks for listening. If you want to message any of us, please do. And yeah, hi to everyone who knows us. Big love.
Feliz Navidad.
Mwah. Ciao.